All right, guys, we're back. Week two, or I guess week one's review, week two's trades. Um, Back for Sportsdeck NBA. Not a bad week, honestly. It was good to watch some basketball again. I mean, you got the preseason, but you can only watch so much of rookies taking bad shots and all that stuff. Not too bad of a score. 769. Obviously, could have been better. I've seen there's about 100 point difference between me and then like the upper echelon, which 100 points is a lot, but it does come from like only two bad picks or about two, I'd say. So yeah, that's fixable if it's only a couple of players. I'd imagine a lot of these come from Supercoach, so the starting team is never perfect. Just going. We'll go like a Supercoach video. We'll just go through the scores, then I'll do the trades, and if there's a bit of time extra, we'll go through like some just players I think you should think about going into this week. First, we got Steph, 97 total score. Had a pretty good week. He started off hot. He put up, I think it was like 30 something against the Lakers and ended up being like a 40 Sportsdeck score. The Nuggets game came down a bit. It was only 28. If you're wondering where you see this, I can't really show it. It just doesn't fit in with the screen. But you click on the plays, you scroll down a bit, and it shows you like their past three games. Or it used to. During that week, it will show you their three games. So the Denver game, he was all right. That is pretty good to watch. Jokic is just incredible. And then Sacramento today, where he was able to kind of just rest a bit. They put up 89 in the first half, or 85, something like that. So Warriors offense is clicking. I think he's got 4 this week. I believe I can kind of tell by the projection. Yeah, they're projecting 140, which means he's probably got 4 games this week. Could probably hit a high number this week, maybe like in the 120s, depending on rests and stuff like that. Just having a look off to the side, he at least his first game of the week is against Phoenix, which is a big game for them. Obviously, it's like at the two Western Conference powerhouses, so yeah, that would be a good game, and I'd imagine Steph gets up for that. Next, we've got Cade, and then I guess we can also just tie in like his running buddy in Ivy. Cade was a little bit disappointing to start the season, considering that this spot was I had D'Angelo here, so I'm just going to have a look at what his score was for the week. Again, it's going to make the screen look a little weird. Just stick with me for a second. Put up 58. All right, so I only lost 3 points on that. That isn't too bad. That one I don't mind. But yeah, Cade just wasn't crazy this week. Versus Orlando, he put up 18. Again, this Sportsdeck points, not actual points, so this is like a culmination of stats. Orlando, 18. Then he had New York, which was another 18. Then Indiana, which he had 19. Against Orlando, I did expect a bit better, but I guess first game of the season, everyone's kind of got a bit of nerves to them and all that. The New York game, yeah, I don't watch too much Pistons basketball, I'm not going to lie, I didn't watch that one. And then the Indiana one, just, they look like a team for the future. Tyrese looks very, very good. If you started him, you're probably pretty happy. And yeah, they look like a good team for the future. And then Ivy versus Orlando, he was a lot better. I thought he looked really good versus Orlando. He's a very good slasher of the ball, so he can drive, which it's going to lead to a game where he's just not able to draw fouls and stuff like that, and just getting a little bit unlucky. But yeah, if he's got multiple scoring avenues and he develops a jump shot, that's pretty cool. And yeah, the same for him. He had 18 versus the Knicks and then 19 versus Indiana. The Indiana game, I actually thought he did a bit better. His efficiency must have been a little low. Onto the other guards. So I can't remember if I had this in my starting team. I should have looked, but I did end up going with Jalen, who for the first game, the first half of the first game, didn't like it. It was like he had 2 points or something like that, 2 turnovers, and he was like 0 of 3 or 0 of 4. So yeah, didn't like that, but he did turn it back around. So he had 35 points, NBA points in the first game, but then 32 Sportsdeck or Dream Team points in the first game. So against Philly, 32, against Miami, 34, and then against Orlando, where like, I don't know, he was getting shut down by like the multiple defenders they were throwing at him. It was like a rotation of Ross, Wagner, the rookie Banchero, even though Banchero was on Tatum a lot. So yeah, he was all right. I'll take an 80. It was kind of just I didn't like anyone else here. Well, I did, but I thought that Jalen was kind of a step above the people there. Then Sexton was more than a little. He was very disappointing this week. 18 versus Denver, 13 versus Minnesota, and then only 7 versus New Orleans. I don't even think he got into double digit scoring versus New Orleans, like NBA points. Haven't really had a look yet. The NBA app sucks ass this year, so haven't been able to watch too much outside of like the teams I'm really like dedicated to watching. So yeah. The idea around Sexton is still there. Jazz, for some reason, look good. They shouldn't. They're tanking. They're clearly tanking, but they're 3-0. They're like the top of the. I think they're the top of the NBA because they've got the most points scored or something like that, or alphabetical something. Yeah, for some reason they've just looked good. We'll get into the main reason why, but if they keep form, maybe Sexton, just turns it around. There is like, I don't really want to go too much into trade rumors and stuff like that, but around the grapevine on the table is Mike Conley for like a package involving Mike Conley for Westbrook. If that happens and Sexton's an auto starter, probably gets like ball most plays. He's known to be a slight bit of a ball hog, more than slight. Yeah, we'll see. This could turn out a bit better. So yeah, I don't think overreact just yet. It's only week 1. And then we've got probably the surprise pick. Like, everyone knew it was going to be good. He had a good preseason, but yeah, he just kind of kept going, which isn't too common for rookies. So we had Ben Mathurin, which is the pronunciation I've seen a lot, so I'm just going to stick with that, Mathurin. 18 versus Washington, 25 versus San Antonio, and then 26 versus Detroit. He was pretty good this week. Like, he came in as a shooter. Like, his draft profile was built around him being a shooter and someone that can develop into a good defender. So a 3-and-D type guy. And then preseason, he's showing like he's a NBA level driver of the basketball. So, he's got all the tools. Him, Halliburton, Hield, who's, again, I don't really want to go into trades, but, Hield's on the trading block. Yeah, they've got a good guard rotation down in Indiana. So it's pretty cool. Yeah, 69 total for the week is good from a rookie. I think everyone's break even was only like 24. He's already at -8, so it's a lot of score to build up. That's nuts. All right, so this needs to be changed. The formula they're using is how much they broke the break even by, and it's leading to 200 scores. Okay. Someone should at Sportsdeck on Twitter and tell them to fix that. And then we'll go on to the forwards. We'll leave the centers to last, just because. So I know this one I had in the video. I had Zach LaVine, and then Wednesday morning or Thursday morning, whenever they played, I woke up like 20 minutes earlier than the first game, and I saw Zach LaVine out with thigh. I think it was a thigh injury or an eye injury, something like that. So I swapped, and I just did it like a mental coin flip of Edwards and Ingram. So Ingram, just for reference, had a good week. At least I thought he did. Yeah, 75 he had this week. Now, Ingram did end up getting injured, so that's, it is what it is. But that's 12 points there. Once you get over 10 points, it is, there's a fair difference there. And Edwards was not tracking too good until the final game. So he had 9 versus OKC, which is where I was starting to worry. It's like, oh, here we go. We've got a dud pick here. 21 versus Utah. And he had just a good game in that one. I caught a bit of it because of the Rudy Gobert revenge game. And then today's game, which was versus OKC, he was pretty good in that as well. So I don't think this is a dud pick. I just think he's started a bit slower. They do play 4 this week, so I might give him another shot. It kind of just depends on how I want to use the trades. So we do get 3 trades by default. So it's a bit different to Supercoach, I believe. And then we've got, if Mathurin is like the surprise rookie, then this is just the surprise pick. Markkanen is having an all-star season through the first week, which sounds a bit stupid. It's only the first week, but I think he's had 23 in every game, or like 23 and above every game. He had 31 or something today. What I said in the video last time, where there's no one there to kind of take shots away from him, it held true. So he had 22 versus Denver, 30 versus Minnesota, and then 41 today. That's very good. You expect that from like your actual premium players. So to get that from someone that was 8 million, he's already jumped up. Does it say? Okay, so he's jumped up 570k. I'll take that. That's fine by me. I need to be making money somewhere in this team. And then won't go into it too much, but Jalen Williams didn't really play that much. He only got in today's game versus Utah, versus Minnesota, I mean. I don't need him to play. I just like it if he did. Then we've got the captaincy pick here. Probably not the smartest. Like, going back, I did trust Gobert, so I should have captained him. Embiid had 31 versus Boston, which was fine. I thought Philly played all right, not particularly good. They kind of played like an average team versus Boston. And then they had the Milwaukee game where Embiid was just, I think he ended up like 4 of 16 or something like that, and he was just off the whole game. It was the Harden game, so if you had Harden this week, then he did pretty good. But yeah, just completely off that game. These are floods. Take those off. Just off game for him. And then the San Antonio game, which kind of like really just saved the score. He had 46, Dream Team. And what do you have? I think he had like 40 points real life. So yeah, not a good captaincy option, but I mean, if he had a proper game versus Milwaukee, then we're probably saying something different here. If he had his normal game, like a 30 point, 10 rebound, pretty efficient performance, then he could have broke 100 and then probably wouldn't have been as mad. But as it stands, I'm probably just going to stick with the plan I had, which was trade Embiid and Gobert. Then Banchero, who for all talk or whatever, he lived up to it. He's very, very good, this kid. I don't know what his ceiling is because he's a Magic player. So Magic I don't think they're going to be winning many games this year. Is that groundbreaking information? The Magic aren't going to be going crazy. But yeah, it was a good week for him. 32 versus Detroit, which I did watch that game. He had the cool dunk in that game. Atlanta 25, didn't get to catch that game because League Pass sucks. And then 16 versus Boston, who I actually thought he was pretty good versus Boston. He just wasn't as efficient as you probably want him to be. But good signs here. Someone that you could probably keep on field for weeks until you have you have the money to kind of trade him and go up a bit. And then kind of like the ops. I wouldn't say the opposite. Duran still looked good, but not as good. I'd say Ivy's looked very good. Mathurin has looked very good. And then Bankera's looked very, very good. Bankera looks very NBA ready, is probably like the best way to put it. As for Duran, he had 18 versus Orlando, 14 versus New York, which I did expect him to struggle versus New York, given they're kind of front court heavy, with Randall and Mitchell. And then 13 versus Indiana, which again, they've got Miles Turner, who's like, he's a very good defensive player, even if he's like lost a step a bit. So I did say Duran was kind of going to become a later in the season type of player, and I still stand by that. He's not starting as far as I've seen. So, yeah, just ride with it. He's only on the bench. And then Gobert was good, very good actually, in the first two. Let's see, where I just put the scores here. So, OKC had 38. I believe he had a 20 rebound game, something like that, 26 rebounds. It was an insane amount versus OKC, which I did think was going to happen because there's no center there. And then versus Utah, he had 26. So I did expect a bit better here, but again, like this was in Minnesota. So the game that's in Utah, I'd expect him to do a bit better. And then I've got the wrong score here. I've put 38 again for OKC, and I know it wasn't that. I believe it was in the 20s, like 23, I want to say. But yeah, that not a terrible week from him, honestly. I'll take that, especially because like the idea behind bringing him in was buy me a week before I trade you to Giannis or trade you to KD, which for Gobert it's KD. So it fit the job. A lot of people had Jokic here, which, of course, Jokic put up more points because he's God. He's two-time MVP, going for his third one, which I don't think they'll give to him because of politics. But Jokic is obviously that guy. He's you got to call him the best player in the NBA or something like that, right? I just thought that the other players around would be able to make up the difference, and that didn't so much happen. And then we've got Walker Kessler here, who for that much has actually been playing all right in the Jazz system, just playing his role, be a big guy, stand in the paint, grab a couple of rebounds. Denver, he had 20, which is pretty good considering a center against Jokic. He's putting up good scores. Versus Minnesota, he had 18, and then versus New Orleans, he had 18. So if he can keep that up, build up a bit of cash, and then swap him out just for whoever else comes along. It does look like there's a couple of rookies this year that are pretty NBA ready and can contribute. So that's good. It's a good sign to see, just for the league, for making games watchable, and then also for Sportsdeck. But yeah, into trades. So I did. Damn. Okay, so it's a bit off on here. Actually, you know what I'll do? I'll make the trades and then I'll explain what I did. So just give me a second. I'll be right back. All right, so made the trades. Like I said, it was Giannis in for Embiid and then KD in for Gobert. This mainly just because of schedule. Like, got it up here on the side. Brooklyn from this week have 4. Next week have 4. Then the week after that is 4 as well. So KD, I think is maybe he's not a must get in, but he's someone that you probably do want to target. And then as for Giannis, it's kind of just he's Giannis. So he's got 3 this week coming, and then 4 after that. But just in a 2-game week, he put up an 85, which is higher than most of my team. So he can have game, like he had the, 40 something points, something like whatever, or 30 something, and it was in 28 minutes. Just he's crazy. So yeah, that's what I'll be doing for this week. I already see it's up to 20 minutes, so if we just maybe I can pull up just some quick players to go through. Tatum's good, but the Celtics haven't got 4 for a while, so you'd probably be holding him for a huge score later. But I mean, he's in great form at the moment. He's dropped like 30 something every game. Harden is good, but Philly haven't looked good, so until they show some stability, I'd kind of stay away from Philly players. LeBron is always good. He's the best player of all time, so of course he's good. Siakam, not going to lie, I haven't watched much Toronto. I watched a bit of the Miami-Toronto game, but yeah, I didn't really see much from him. So that one I can't comment on. Donovan looks very, very good. If you have room at like one of the guard spots, I'd target him. Why not? I don't see a reason not to. Garland should be back next week, and that's only good for Mitchell. Garland's a very pass-first point guard, which is perfect. De'Aaron plays for the Kings. I'd stay away from that. Ja looks like he's going to be in the running for MVP this year. He reminds me so much of Derrick Rose. Like, it is insane. They've got like the explosiveness off the floor. Very, very, very Derrick Rose-like. And Memphis are good as well. Like, they did have the big loss to Dallas, but that was coming off a back-to-back, and Luka just was going crazy in the first. But I mean, if you get him in now, this week, you've got this week is 3, and then the next 2 you have 4 game weeks. So that's not too bad of a pick, honestly. If you were to go Ja, it's just very expensive. Tyrese, like I said, Tyrese is very good at the moment. He's got 4 next week, so even I might have a look at trading him. Maybe I'll even chuck on a boost. Who knows? Boost in week 1 really isn't as big a deal as people make it out to be. It's just, fixing up your starting team. Markkanen is good. Utah do have 4 this week, and they have 4 for the next 3 weeks, so that's cool. Gobert has 4, so if you want a center that's not Jokic, then Gobert's the option. Haven't watched any Atlanta games yet. Booker looks good this year. He started the season pretty good. The big comeback win versus Dallas, which was like needed for Phoenix's confidence. Embiid was good, but only in the final game. I didn't really like him in the other 2 games. DeRozan, he did kind of slip a little bit with Levine back, so I want to give that a little bit of time. Haven't watched Wiggins. I haven't really watched too much of Wiggins, but like the Warriors games I watch, he's good. Like the Warriors, I don't need to watch. I know they're good. They're the most entertaining team in basketball. So honestly, I'd even go as far to say they're the most entertaining team in all of sport. But it is what it is. And when you're watching for Steph. Let's be honest. Dame's been very good to start the season. So this is one that I got wrong. Whatever. I said that Dame could come back a bit slow since he had a big injury. That's not been the case. Dropped 40 today versus a very bad Lakers team, which I don't really want to go into. And he's looked good. I think he had 40 in another game this week. So if you wanted to trade him in, he's only 12 mil. So it's not an insanely high price, but it is what it is. PG's been good as well. He had 40 versus the Kings, and then kind of struggled tonight or today. It's kind of what you get with him. You're going to get some hot games, some cold games. When Kawhi rests, I expect PG to do like very, very good. He's an all-star player. Yeah, it is what it is. Luka's been very good. Like, oh my God, watching Luka. He just hits such crazy shots. Like, he's fallen off balance and everything. He's a crazy type of player. CJ's been all right. Should step up because I think Ingram's in concussion protocol, and then Zion might miss the next game. So Zion's got like I don't want to get it wrong. I think it's a thigh injury. So as long as it's not Zion's foot, then you're probably fine in terms of like, am I worried that he's injured? yeah, CJ could put up a good game next week. Beal's been all right. I did watch a little bit of the Wizards game versus the Cavs. It was all right. Jimmy, do expect a little bit better. It'll probably get better as the season goes along. Hero's been a good addition to the Heat starting lineup, but I mean, he was good off the bench, so of course, you give a good player more minutes, they'll be better. Trey's been a little down, but it's because he's splitting points with another backcourt member. Just going through. Shea's injured at the moment, but I expect him to be back. I think today was kind of like a caution game, and plus the Thunder want to lose. D'Lo, like I said, he's had a good start to the year, even if it's not showing up in Sportsdeck. Trey Jones is very good. If you started him, you're doing fine. The Spurs have actually they've been playing good. It's just like they're playing to lose, so their team can't win because they're not talented enough to win, but they've got the Popovich scheme, which means, they're always going to be in a game. Towns I'd hop off of. The Gobert thing is turning him into more of a facilitating center and a spot up center, because they can't both be in the paint at the same time, or else spacing is just going to suck. And Gobert can't stand on the 3-point line because he's pointless there. So just ends up Towns being the extra guy in a possession and not doing much. Maybe later in the year, this will, when they get a couple of reps working together, they'll be able to work it out. Just wait and see on that one. Then is there any other comments I should make on someone? If you had Jordan Poole, I'd trade him out. He's not it. Start of the season. Brunson, I thought was better than 39, but yeah, he's a Knicks player. Keegan Murray, I thought he was a lot better, honestly. The last two, yeah, I think that's right. He's looked good. I guess he only played 2 games. He missed his first one with health and safety. He's looked very good. So he should be a good rookie for the Kings. Kawhi, he's got his injury game of his rest games because of his injury. So if you started him, I'd trade him out to PG. If you wanted him for a Clippers player because of their schedule, I'd just swap to PG. And I think that's about it for actual important players. So yeah, I'll see you all next week. Tasty out.